2024, a year that felt like the dawn of a new era for AI. AI-powered tech stole the spotlight with groundbreaking chips designed to supercharge personal computing, hinting at a future where devices think and adapt faster than we ever imagined. Then there are many AI-powered PCs packed with AI assistant features. But these aren't just assistants, they became sort of creative partners capable of generating text and images and even organizing tasks and think and anticipate our next move, as well as helping cybercriminals wreak more havoc and write podcast intros. And now, here we are in 2025, living in a world where these innovations are changing the way we work, create, and interact on the daily basis. Welcome to Unlocked for 03 Season 2, a cybersecurity podcast brought to you by ESET. My name is Beck Selby, your host, and today my counterpart is Andrej Kubovic, a security awareness specialist at ESET. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah. Last year, you were our first guest on the very first episode that we ever published and ever recorded. So it felt only right to have you back for Season 2.
Glad to be here.
And of course, we had to do a update on what's happened in the past year with the world of AI. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, scared?
A little bit. I had to prepare a lot of notes because
4 pages, by the way, of notes.
AI is the most hyped topic today. So there's a lot of things going on right now.
Yeah, I know. But we need to pack it into
I'll
a certain
try.
amount of minutes, you know.
You just need to stop me at some point.
I'll try. But it's always hard to stop you because it's very interesting to listen to you. So
Thank you.
that's why we have you here. Let's get into it with the very first questions. What's the biggest change in the past year?
I would say it's the power of AI models because when we started talking about the topic, it was about these models being capable of generating text and generating maybe some images, but not really high quality. Some of them were doing some video, but not very advanced. Today, when you look at the models, they can do basically anything. Generate text, generate images, videos, even generate non-existent personalities and people and voices that are talking to you, and they sound believable. The text looks believable. The pictures look believable. Everything is getting better in quality. So I would say this is where the biggest change for the users happened. But there were also other advances that are maybe not that visible for the general public, but of course like robotics and use for weapons. Even there we see that AI has been deployed in real warfare. So there are places where this started to influence our lives really heavily.
If someone hasn't seen the first episode, by the way, go watch it and listen to it if you haven't. But in case someone hasn't seen it, just a very quick rundown. What is AI and is it really as new as we think it is?
So in the first episode, we said like AI is not really AI because it's not artificial intelligence per se. It's not some thinking machine that is sentient that can like supersede humans in anything they do. But let's say it got a lot closer to that.
In just 1 year.
Let's say
Scary.
in many things, of course, not like one model is not capable of doing everything.
Yeah.
But there are specific models now, even agentic AI. This is a new term that is being run, and agentic AI.
So not generative, agentic.
So those are very specific models that are focusing on complex tasks, and they can do it much more as a human would. So they take it into or break it down into several steps and then work through those steps. So in the beginning, it was like, write me something like this. Now you can say, solve this problem for me, and it can break down the problem into several smaller issues and then work on those issues. And that makes it much more deployable and closer to how humans operate, how we as a species operate.
So does it make mistakes as well?
Yes, of course.
It does.
Yeah, and the thing is also that it hallucinates, so it can come up with new stuff that it's not actually...
So it has dreams.
You can, if you want to call it that, you can, but it's coming up with new stuff that can be actually bad for the outcome. It can influence it in a way that is not going to be what you expect, what you need. And if you don't do all the proper checks, then it can lead to right now I wouldn't say disasters, but at least some issues
Close
or
to
problems.
it. Mhm.
And in the future, as AI will be more and more involved in our lives, it can become catastrophic and problematic more and more. So
Great.
that's the difference. But what we are talking here, like typically these are still machine learning models.
Yes.
So it's a model that can crunch a lot of data, get some information out of it,
Mhm.
process it, and then come up with, let's say, predictions or use that information to produce something new, something derivative from the original.
Yeah.
So that's how the generative AI has been working.
Mhm.
But as I say, we are getting closer to the AGI dream. Not there yet, still no, even though there are people who might want to claim that,
Mhm.
including OpenAI, which has this clause with Microsoft that when they achieve AGI, they don't have to provide their models to Microsoft anymore.
Oh.
So maybe they have some incentives to say they have
Okay.
AGI.
Mhm.
But right now, artificial general intelligence isn't here yet. And that's going to be the level where the models are going to be the same as humans,
Yeah.
as capable as humans.
Yeah. Have you seen these models work or used in a way that you didn't expect?
I would say the most surprising use of this type of model was Notebook LM, published by
Okay.
Google.
Mhm.
It's just something that I mean, there are so many models, so many uses of this that you can find your own surprises.
Mhm.
But for me, Notebook LM was interesting because you upload a PDF
Mhm.
and you get a podcast where two people are talking to each other, including breaths, pauses, everything. It sounds like humans. It's not. Those people don't exist. It's just the model talking to itself and explaining the PDF. It has 30 pages, 50 pages, 100 pages, and it can crunch it into 10, 15, 20 minutes of podcasting. It's a really nice way how to ingest information. And it's also scary and creepy because those people don't exist.
There's a new hit podcast taking X and the tech world by storm. It's called Google Deep Dive. It's taking on everything from the latest in science to classical literature. The only catch, the hosts aren't real, and the producer is you. This is all part of Google's new Notebook LM project.
Luckily, we've got some clues to work with. We've got this juicy JP Morgan survey.
Yeah.
Over 500 people
Oh,
gave their insights on smartphones and buying decisions.
that's a pretty good sample size, actually.
Yeah, it gives us a good snapshot of what's really going
That's
on.
scary that that is possible. I always thought because we talk about like AI taking people's jobs, but I thought this wasn't something that AI could take over. But apparently, should I be scared?
Not scared right now, but because
future.
if you listen to those podcasts, they are a little bit generic and they will not deviate from the content that you provided. They are focusing only on the material they have at hand. So it's not going to be that big of a problem right now, but maybe in the future, if you can select some check, like let the models roam free in the topic and maybe pull in some other information from the internet, maybe it can actually replace people in doing this.
From the voices in those podcasts, can you tell that it's generated, or does it sound like a real human? Because you said breaths and everything, pauses. Does it really sound like a human?
It does really sound like humans.
Is it ethically made, or are they robbing someone's voice? Oh, we don't know.
It's hard to say how they or what the training material was, but that's true for almost all the models. So
True.
we cannot say. But on the other hand, like there was probably some voice material used, but the voices are not copying like an exact person. It doesn't sound like, I don't know, some
You.
like me or somebody from movies.
Yeah.
It's not actor voices. It's some material they used and it trained on that. But then like the voices, they sound like humans.
I have to try it. I have to see for myself. How have I never heard of this before?
That was for me the most interesting and creepy use.
That is
I've
creepy.
seen.
That is creepy.
If we move to the more negative area, then we can talk about the warfare, where where drones have been powered by at least some automation, maybe even AI.
For the first time. That's never been used before.
Not at this scale. It's real conflicts, real wars where drones are operated themselves and can adapt to the situation. We, for example, now know that the naval drones Ukraine uses downed some helicopters themselves. So
They decided to do it themselves. They were not told by a general or a soldier.
no, the drone was equipped with a Gatling gun,
Uh-huh.
and it could point it at the helicopter and take it down. So this is something that never happened on the
Yeah,
battlefield.
but it
and
must have been turned on by a person, right?
Yes, but that's the only thing that the person does. They just let it out on the into the sea, maybe point it to some direction where they want it to do the mission, and then when it's attacked by a helicopter that is trying to take it out, it just points the Gatling gun and takes down the helicopter. So it's defending itself.
Ukraine has unveiled a new kind of robot weapon, an AI-powered gunboat that's been attacking Russian targets in the Black Sea. Whilst in the past we've been led to believe that perhaps these machine guns have been remotely controlled, the SBU, Ukraine's domestic intelligence agency, has said that now they can find, track and engage targets on their own. So they don't need a human being at the end of a remote control to open fire. And this is a significant evolution.
And there have been other things like drone swarms that are flying all together at a specific target, and they want to either attack it or do some reconnaissance, so look at it and like spy. So that's also one of the uses. And there has been quite a few reports about the AI being used to find targets. That has happened in, I think, Gaza, and Israel has been using this
Elaborate,
technology.
please.
As I said, they were using AI to find the military targets that were then targeted by airstrikes.
Meaning they were fed some information, images, locations, blah, blah, blah,
They
and
were
it
fed some
deducted
intelligence.
from it.
Yeah, they based on some intelligence that humans and have been providing, the army has been providing. The AI was capable of saying, this is the house that you should be attacking, or this is the place where you should run the next airstrike to, because that's going to have some effect on the war in the end.
What is the effect on the war in the future?
It's scary because we don't know how many times the models hallucinate based on that information. It's hard to prove in the end if the attack was not effective, but if it hit the right targets, if it wasn't a civilian building in the end. Right now, maybe there's some kind of vetting, or there should be some kind of vetting, and we don't know if it's happening or how it's happening. So, and especially in time of war, those things are typically secret, so we are not capable of saying what this is going to do, but the battlefield is going to be a scary place in the future.
Well, it's always been a scary place, but
you knew that there were humans on the other side. Now there will be machines on the other side, and I mean, if I imagine myself being somewhere in the trenches and seeing a robotic dog with a Gatling gun on its back and running at me, that's like, I'm going to run. That's crazy.
Yeah. Question. Could it go rogue? Could the machine decide that all humans are bad and destroy us? I'm laughing because it like Matrix stuff, right? But could it?
Let's hope not. The thing is, we have been repeating this, that the models are capable of coming up with their own information outputs, their own decisions. And sometimes they don't elaborate on those decisions, so we don't know why they did them. And
That's the scary part for me.
Yeah, and in the end, if we achieve the super intelligence, or we achieve the AGI even, where the model is deciding for itself, then maybe it can decide even my allies are danger, and I'm gonna try to attack them as well.
Or my creator is dangerous.
Yep.
Because it created me.
And can destroy me. But I don't want to paint the dark picture. I mean, there's so many good uses for AI. This is just one that we should...
Let's get into the good use.
There are good examples of, for example, the agentic AI. It's being used also in healthcare. It's so you can...
How is it being used in healthcare?
It helps the doctors to process a lot of information, because for one patient, maybe the file is really long and rich in information, and they might be like, we humans only have so much capacity, so the doctor is maybe not capable of seeing all the information that they should, and the model can be of assistance. Still, it should be assistance. It should not be the decision or the final decision itself.
Yeah.
For example, I know that some of these, I would say, machine learning models in this case, were used to look at the screens for breast cancer.
I did read
And they
about
were
that,
really
yes.
good at identifying it.
Quite early on as well.
The problem is the reasoning. The models were not capable of explaining why something was detected as potentially cancerous. So if you are not sure, you don't want to put somebody on chemo.
Right.
or,
Yeah.
uh,
But that's a
treat it.
capability that can be trained and perfected in the future, right?
The new models that have been published this year
Mhm.
have the reasoning capacity, and they can explain some of what they do, and also the breakdown of the complex problems that they are processing.
Okay.
That's something that can help. Still, you're relying on the information that the machine is giving you, and you have to do a lot of vetting to be completely sure everything is fine. Maybe that's going to take up more of your time than doing the decision yourself based on some information that you can gather.
Right. Right.
So that's healthcare. In security, if we talk about this,
I wanted to get into that. Yes.
yeah, in security, it has been used for detecting malicious stuff. We have been doing this for 20 plus years,
Yes.
since 97. And we are using it also today for more sophisticated analysis. But it has also become better at, for example, evaluating if a vulnerability is critical or dangerous. And this is something that can really help analysts if they are sitting on the defensive side. There is a new vulnerability that has been found by somebody. If the model can crunch it and say, okay, this is something that is for your systems, for your environment, very critical. You have a lot of exposed machines. You need to patch this right now, and this is the highest priority. That's something that saves you a lot of time
quite nice,
and gives
yeah.
you the context. So this is something that the models can do and are very good at. Even, for example, if you're sitting in a SOC, Security Operations Center, and you're defending a company, you don't know how many alerts you get every day. And sometimes maybe 3, 4, 5, 10, 100 of those alerts are connected, and it's one incident that is happening. And if the model can all fuse it into one incident and tell you, okay, this is the connections between these incidents, and maybe you can use that information to solve the whole problem at once
Yeah.
and
It's
understand
useful.
if it's more serious than you thought. That's
It's
really
quite
good.
useful. Yeah, yeah. On the opposite side of that, let's talk about I wanted to move on from the dark topics, but unfortunately I can't because, how has this been leveraged by the bad guys, the criminals?
So the predictions are coming true pretty fast. That we have predicted that there will be a lot of scam, phishing, basically fraudulent stuff happening using AI models. Last year was nothing but documenting it and showing it. So if you just look at the basics, social media is now flooded with investment scams that are using deepfake videos, which are AI generated, using famous faces, including Elon Musk.
Today we are launching an investment project that is working right now. If you see this video, absolutely everyone can earn it. Everything is very simple.
I'm here to tell you about the Neuralink crypto token, the new cryptocurrency that will change the world forever.
Actors, politicians, anyone?
Yeah, exactly. And all of them are like guaranteeing this new investment into this crypto AI powered investment scheme that's gonna bring you millions in few hours or few weeks. Of course, not true.
What was it for the investment of $250?
$250
for
and-
millions.
Millions is a little exaggeration on my end, but
Right.
typically they are promising you to get thousands in a month.
Okay.
So that's very interesting.
Reasonable.
Not reasonable, but interesting at least for some people.
Yeah.
Even though those scams are really low quality today, it's getting better. We can see that they're changing the topics almost daily, and even the phishing websites that they are generating look quite believable if you don't poke around and look for the links, and then you start understanding that this is just a scam and the page is not real.
Yeah.
So,
But sometimes you
it's-
get too far
yeah.
before you realize.
And it's large scale. So that's
And
the
it's
thing
very-
that happens. So these scams are being run on a large scale, probably not by one group, but like several groups that are cooperating and dividing the labor on it. And it's really hard to counter. As we can see, that social media are struggling to even identify these types of scams and then taking them down.
Yeah, and quite slow at it as well. My favorite deepfake scam was the Europol one last year, where it wasn't about an investment, but it was, if you have ever been scammed by an investment scam, Europol is here to help.
And it was Benedict Cumberbatch saying that.
And it was Benedict Cumberbatch,
and we call it the follow-up scam, because you have been scammed and then they try to scam you a second time.
Dear friends, my fan has been deceived by cyber fraudsters. Today I would like to tell you a story that happened a couple of weeks ago. My fan wrote to me and told me the story of how he got into a remaking with internet scammers. I was dumped the website of the Europol organization. Yes, you can apply online on the official Europol return website. Then you will be contacted. Take care of yourself and be vigilant on the internet when you want to invest your money somewhere.
And the idea behind that is not investment anymore. It's you have been scammed. So if you want me to add your file to the case that I'm working on, you will just have to
give me some information
or
money.
Or information. So if you weren't scammed enough, then this will finish the scamming.
Yeah. It is, and that one in particular, a lot of people clicked on and got to this fraudulent website that looked very believable up to very small details. And I can imagine a lot of people, unfortunately, did not see those details.
Yeah, a lot of people get fooled by this.
Yeah. Part of these scams or part of these attacks is social engineering, a huge part of it. How can we as individuals or organizations, states, whatever, how can we defend ourselves against these social engineering scams leveraging AI?
I would say critical thinking and knowing the scams is a big part of being safe.
Stay educated on the topic.
Yeah. Understand how the scammers are running those things. And if you know that, it's quite easy to identify, especially right now because they are low quality. So even the videos that we are mentioning, the problem is not that they are so believable. The thing is the scale. They are running this in big numbers and they don't need to hit everybody. They just need a small percentage that will send them money, and that's enough. So in the end, what is important for people and their safety is to be informed. So that's the first thing. Of course, the defensive technologies, as I said, there are technologies that are capable of helping you identify these things and blocking you from going there. So that's also something that you should do. So security solutions installed on your devices, that's something that will always be helpful.
More and more so.
I don't know, like the typical old school stuff that you need to keep everything updated and
of course,
protected, backed up.
Yeah.
So that's still here. It's not going anywhere, and it's not going to change in the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah. Do you think that these organizations, states and so on are prepared for these types of attacks?
I would say nobody is prepared for this because
Great.
It's becoming so easy to use these models for nefarious stuff.
Yeah.
And we probably even don't know how it can be used. And if somebody comes up with a new interesting model, like we saw, for example, with ransomware, somebody came up with the idea, let's steal the information and extort the companies by saying we will publish this. It wasn't working like that before. They were just encrypting your stuff and trying to get the money out of you.
Yeah.
When they changed the model, one person came up with this idea, all the gangs started doing it. And it's the same thing with AI. Somebody will come up with some creative way how to use it, and all of the other crooks are going to copy that. And it's going to happen, again, in large scale, as we have seen with these deepfakes. It's already happening. And that's the low-hanging fruit. When we talk about social engineering and some more advanced attackers who are capable of, let's say, they will not use the first thing that the model spews out. They will just take it as a baseline and then work on how the emails look or how the social engineering, the whole campaign looks. And in the end, it can become very believable. And for example, what we expect is that somebody might use AI model to train on the social media profile of somebody or your messages that have been leaked. And then I can sound exactly like you or write exactly as you.
In 2025, what are some of the trends that we should be looking out for when it comes to AI?
What will probably continue that we have seen up till today is that the models are going to get more powerful, see more utilization in more areas. It's still kind of niche. It's not really like being widely used by everybody. But what will probably start happening, and it already happens, that people are getting lazier because the model can do a lot of work for you, and people just use the output without checking it, without even trying to memorize anything.
I've seen so much of that.
I don't want to say we are getting dumber, but it kind of gets in that direction. So it can be a problem. And this is maybe even a little bit of a misconception that AI is going to make us better. And in the end, some of our typical capabilities that we had for years and we were trained at since preschool are going to go away because AI can do it for us. And we are just going to be working on some, we think, creative stuff, but in the end, it's going to be to our detriment because we don't see all the context, all the information that we should, because our brains will not be wired to process in that way.
There was this quote, but it's a really old quote. I don't even know who said it, but it was that I don't want AI to do the creative stuff. I want it to do my laundry and housework.
The quote, "I want AI to do my laundry and dishes so that I can do art and writing, not for AI to do my art and writing so that I can do my laundry and dishes," was shared by Joanna Machewska.
When will that happen?
There are companies that are working on robots that are sometimes humanoid, sometimes not, but they are trying to do the boring stuff for you at home, cleaning your windows, doing your laundry.
I have one of those vacuums that goes around on its own. That's quite neat.
Just recently, I saw a video. There is a
Don't tell me it's bad. Please don't tell me it's bad.
It's good. It's
I'm not getting rid of it. It's a new one. I just bought it.
It's a robo vacuum that has a hand, so it comes out.
If
there is a sog, it will pick it up and just put it away.
Is it real though? I thought that was a fake.
I saw it in like 6 tech outlets, so I don't think it's fake.
True.
It's true.
I just saw it on social media and I did not check if it was true.
It's a good point. I didn't check. I didn't verify, but I saw it from different sources. So that's for me like a mini check. That
right, 50%.
Okay. Probably. So even if it's not true, it's somebody's gonna get inspired by this, and it's gonna happen in a couple of months, maybe years. But
don't tell me months.
I think it's
I just bought a new one. I can't buy another one in a few months.
Maybe return it right now.
The disclaimers that we see on some of the movies produced nowadays are, this movie was not produced using AI. Should these types of disclaimers be on everything that is not produced or produced using this type of technology?
I think doesn't hurt. It's good to know that there has been this type of tool in action. If we should have it for everything that AI is doing, I think it's impossible because it's been used in so many ways, in so many technologies, in so many like everyday things that we do, that there won't even be a place where you can show such a disclaimer. There is not a screen on everything where you can...
Yeah, but in this transitional period, let's say.
I would keep it even after. Like, even if we know that everybody's using AI for everything, still there should be like, okay, AI has been used in this case. Yeah. Because maybe there will be movies that will be done old school way, and they would like to
I think that's why they do it. I think that's why they put the disclaimer there that we actually do it the real way.
And it's the same thing as with handcrafted stuff today. Like if you go to a market and you see everybody having the same stuff, and there's this one small stall where a guy is sitting with small crooked ceramics, and it's like, well, this is cool, this is nice. And he says he did it by hand. Okay. Maybe that has more value. It has the human imprint on it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the same thing that's going to happen to like content that we consume online, and maybe it's going to be more interesting that way, or we will be looking for that type of content. So I would keep that disclaimer, and I think it doesn't harm anybody to know that.
Yeah.
It's a positive.
What about AI in cybersecurity this year, 2025? What is the prediction?
We will see more of the fraudulent use. We will see enhanced social engineering use. Maybe even some malware generated by AI. We think
Are we there already?
I think it's already happening. The thing is, it's the quality of the stuff that's being produced. It's the same as with the deep fakes. You can produce it, but it's low quality, and it's about the volume. So maybe even the malware is being produced by or enhanced or somehow produced by AI, but in the end, it doesn't matter if we can catch it. So we are not trying to look at the origin of the malware. We are trying to look at what it's trying to do. And we don't care if it has a label that this has been done by AI.
Yeah.
The important thing is to keep everybody safe.
Of course, well, that's why we're here. What is the biggest misconception about AI that you believe, people believe?
Many people believe that artificial intelligence is already better than humans at most things, which is still not true. We are not
Thankfully.
in AGI state yet, even though some people want to claim that. And the second, I'm not sure if I want to say misconception, is the doom scenario that it's going to kill us all, probably. And from what we see right now...
Well, you did talk about the drones and the helicopters being shot, so I don't know, dude.
Yes, but I'm talking about the battlefield. I'm not talking about most of the world.
Right.
So I think in most parts of the world, we are trying to use it for good, for making our lives easier, better, to improve stuff, to make everything that we do easier.
Yeah.
That's what we have been doing for the whole history of humanity. And we are trying to get to some point where we get some money and you don't have to do anything.
Yeah, we're lazy creatures. That's true. Yeah.
But I would say many creatures are. It's not just humans.
I mean, yeah, that's why we have innovation, because we're lazy. My favorite thing to talk about when I talk about AI to people is like, I always start with, artificial intelligence is not intelligent or artificial. And that always gets the ball rolling. So I quite like that. That's my, that's the misconception.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah. I like it. People usually interact with that quite nicely.
Trying to perceive you that it's the other way around, that it's already artificial and intelligent.
Yes, because that's the general belief, is that, as you said, they believe it's more intelligent than it actually is. So they're like, no, but I saw it do this, or I saw it do that. And I'm like, yes, but. There's always the but.
And it's a big but.
Yeah. Anyways, let's end this, because I'm going rogue. Thank you for that. That was wonderful. I think, it just 12 very short months, a lot has happened in this technology, and you've proved it to me, and I'm not creeped out at all. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Let's see each other in 12 months and we'll see what happened again.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have 8 pages of this. So
please don't. 4 was enough. No, but this was wonderful, and I think definitely we have to have you again on the podcast. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I just want to remind everybody that if you want to listen to the podcast, you can do so on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and also YouTube. And both Spotify and YouTube has a video format as well. And also, just to plug you in, ESET Research also has a podcast that you publish on all the platforms as well, except for YouTube, I think, right?
We're trying to move to YouTube, yeah.
Trying to. Okay, so watch out for that. So if you want a more in-depth sort of version of the attacks and research and what our very, very clever people at this company do, definitely go check that out. It's called ESET Research Podcast.
Exactly.
So thank you for watching. This was the first one of season 2. We hope to see you again for the next 12 months, and stay safe.